Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm just throwing this up pretty quick. I'm just kind of sitting in bed, and you can see my screensaver behind me in the dark. I decided to do a video like this. I don't care. So, because I'm gonna actually just rest a little bit and then go play guitar probably for another hour or two because I'm practicing this set of all these old songs and I'm having a hard time kind of getting all the solos right. I'm just trying to get everything technically finesse. I mean, it's not a full band yet, so I'm not going to worry too much about it because it's like, uh, I think by the time we have like another like a singer and like another guitarist or keyboardist or whatever, it'll probably be I'll probably be well on my way to having all that shit or having all the shit down. Nevertheless, it's a little frustrating. So I just want to give a little thought to my friends that I have, or I know several people who are in their 30s or 40s or whatever, who are still virgins at that age. And I thought about this. I'm like, man, I feel like, what can I do? And I mean, obviously, I have my own problems with relationships or lack thereof at times too. A lot of the time, well, to be honest. Um, Now, my love life has been pretty mediocre, but I wouldn't say it. Whoa, shit. I wouldn't say it's total shit like that. Like, or it's not shit, but lacking. I should say it's not totally lacking. You know, but one of the problems is that what do you do? You know, what do you do when you're 35, 45 years old and maybe you've had a date or you've had it hung out with a girl or something before, but you've never had sex, never had a real relationship. What do you do? I mean, it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary, the thought, like what with the process of how difficult in the first place it is to get to that point. I mean, I can say that it I got lucky because I was set up with my first girlfriend. Um, and even that was really tough to get to because I had to do a lot of work and really like try not to like fuck things up too much, which I almost did several times. And then, that went south after a while, of course. But and to get to the second point, it's just like you go on the third, fourth, casual, whatever, and then this, whoever, it's just like it's such work to even get to the point where, especially if you're older, like I was older, so I mean I'll just say I just a weird subject to talk about, for certain people that watch this, but I was so just a little warning about that, but I'm not going to get too graphic in detail, don't worry, but I was certainly older than most people are when they lose their virginity, but it was kind of anticlimactic, to so to speak, too. Um, but the way that it happened, I mean, just the way what happened, it was, I don't know. There were other things that were better in even with that. So it got better, of course. Sex gets better, but you know the whole point. What I'm trying to say is like I am really worried about them, and I don't I about people that I know that are virgins, and I don't know what the path forward for them would be. Specifically, I know a guy that's a Christian, and he wants to be married before he has sex, and he's pushing it. He's pushing. I mean, he's up there in age now. I'm not going to say because I don't want to give too much away. who it is. I mean, he doesn't watch this channel. I'm not worried about it, but a lot of people that I know don't even watch this channel, so it doesn't really matter too much. But of course, who knows in the future? But it's really worrisome, and I think about it a lot because it's like, I'm frustrated myself over my love life and my mediocre love life, but I can't even imagine what it's like to be a virgin, like 45 or 50 or whatever. It's like, is there a way forward? Is there a way for him to succeed? There's all these limitations. Obviously, there's reasons why he's a virgin at age 45 or 46 or whatever. I'm not going to say because I don't want to, how old he is. But it's like, how do you overcome that at such an advanced age? I mean, I can think that even if it's not the best right now for me for various reasons with the opposite sex, I can give various reasons for that, which I won't go into in this video. I am writing my memoirs. I'm not a joke. I had a friend that told me that I should do that because as pretentious as it sounds, I don't really care. I just want to do it. So I am writing out like a autobiography or just diary or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if I'm going to publish it. If I did get famous for something, I would definitely publish it. But I'm just saying, like, I am writing out. I'm going to start writing a lot of stuff down. Just writing, because I wrote a whole comedy bit that's probably about 15, 20 minutes now. But as soon as I get all the stuff ironed out on it, so that's what I like to do. So, but I'll go into some of the stuff in my personal life that's happened over the last couple of years. I say going back about 7 or 8 years, honestly, like just certain things that have happened to me that I don't want to talk about on YouTube. I'm not comfortable doing that, but one day I may, depending on what happens. I think people would start to understand me a little bit better if they knew what the story was with everything. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyways, back to the video or whatever you want to call this. So it's just the Matrix screensaver in my old Mac. So I don't know what the way forward for someone like that is. It's kind of scary. I don't know if he, should get a prostitute at a certain point or, call girl, whatever. I don't know if someone should just like fucking like, I don't know. It's like, what do you do? So let's just say hypothetically, there's a guy, he's on SSI, he's missing some teeth, he's a virgin and he's like a pretty smart, nice guy. He has like other things, speech impediment or, smells or has some kind of weird, some kind of weird deformity or whatever. I'm just saying hypothetically, I'm not specifically talking about anyone, there might be people that have certain aspects of that or whatever, or there might be various things about the person. Well, what do you do? Do you get them a speech therapist? Do they have to remove some kind of thing from their face, or if they did have something like that, or if they walk funny or whatever, do they have to have a career? Do they have to start, or like in the case of the Christian person that I know, like what do they, do you just have to be a little bit more loose about your values? Do you have to say, hey, like I know I'm a virgin. I know it's pretty close to impossible to meet a Christian girl that would like me, for who I am, or it's very difficult, I should say, that I'm attracted to. Because, the thing is about these virgins, they have, at least I know a few of them, they have had chances to get, to lose their virginity or have relationships. But they tell me, yeah, I didn't like her. She was unattractive to me, blah, blah, blah. So it's like they do have the possibility, the opportunity to do that. But they don't take it because they have a standard and idealized thing in their head, which I for sure had when I was a virgin, because that's what happens when you're alone for most of your life up until a certain point. There's a lot of things that happen to, especially a man. I'm just gonna say, a man, like it's just like this idealized thing that happens in your mind and your brain. And you start like, it almost becomes like a fantasy. Because I thought, for a long time that the first girl, or not the first girl, but I would be married and stuff, like all this stuff, like with losing, and not, I mean, maybe not necessarily the first girl I was with, but like it just was like I would have this magical thing. I had this vision of this girl I would meet that I would marry and all this stuff and all this crazy stuff. But that's just like because it's so you're so lonely and so desperate in a way, and you're so insular, and you start, especially if you're a creative person, you're gonna start thinking these things. And I know at least one of these people that I know has had that thing. And it's very relatable because I've had that myself. So it's a little scary. Oh wow, that it's like getting closer to the that's kind of trippy. I think the camera is going more towards the monitor, but then it moves away or something. I don't know. Um, that's an optical illusion. Probably is. It's just an optical illusion watching that shit. Um, so yeah, you have this idealized notion. You have this like fantasy in your head about what you want. Like, oh, I'm gonna meet my wife and she's gonna look like this, and that's good because that's manifestation some of the time. But if you don't believe you're gonna get someone, you're not gonna get them. And I think that's happens. These virgins really don't want to put in the. A lot of people don't want to put in the work, and they don't understand. Maybe this magical thinking, as people call it, lets them get off the hook as far as any real work goes too. And I don't only mean work on like trying to meet women, like going out there in public or on site web, on apps or whatever. I mean actually like working on themselves too. I mean both. It gives them an excuse. Oh well, I'm gonna meet this woman one day that is gonna accept me for who I am. It's gonna be magical and all this shit. It's like you're kind of making an excuse for laziness and uh, the status quo in your life by doing that. And these people that I know, at least I could speak to one person that I know that's a virgin. I think he's kind of like that. I mean, I think it's like it's an excuse. It's almost like, well, you know, I'm gonna be myself. And people, other friends have told me, it's like I'm gonna be myself. Women's gonna have to be accepting of me. Well, then don't complain. And one guy that told me that has been married for a long time now. By the way, it's not like it's never good to say that, but like, don't complain if you don't get what you want, or if you get someone that you're not, you know, not very attracted to or whatever. In that case, if you don't improve yourself, you're not going to get as good of, I can't really speak to that. The last several years I've kind of not improved as much as I should, but in life. But things are a little bit different now. I think they're pointing towards a better direction. But it's like this: you're comfortable as a status quo, and you expect women or a woman to like uh, shape themselves to your wants and needs. I don't mean like in a relationship, because I've done that. One of my exes, I wanted to like influence her to be a certain way and stuff like that, and I realized that that's pretty flawed. um it's pretty bad to do that. It's not really bad to do that, but it just doesn't work. You're not going to change people. You're going to, yeah, you can change yourself. Now what could have happened is just adopt better habits. And if it didn't work, which in this case it probably didn't, because of some of those habits, honestly. But if it didn't work, it didn't work. And if I would have changed and gotten better habits myself, kind of gotten more into some of the things I did back then even, and tried to make more of a lifestyle that was healthy, Would she have followed? I don't know. I highly doubt it. But she would, at the same time, it's like, well, if you're a healthy person, I don't know. It's so complicated. But, you know, this whole thing, I don't know. It's an emergency alert. This is kind of alert. This video is like, it's like kind of no, it's, what am I trying to say? It's going to be, it's, it's kind of an emergency for these people, specifically one person that I'm thinking of. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to have to accept, or he's going to have to accept at this point in his life that he may be alone forever. And this is very, very fatalistic and very kind of negative and pessimistic about him. But I don't think he's ever going to meet, at this point in time, I don't think he's going to meet someone. Unless, like, I mean, I'm not going to, unless she's desperate. And a lot of times, in that case, that's, hot girls aren't desperate usually. I'm just saying. So he's going to have to face up to being alone for his whole life. I can't even imagine that concept of being alone for the rest of your life, never having anybody. And it's just, I'm just saying, it's an emergency at this point. If he doesn't do something now, it's like, in my opinion, like it's too late. I'm not saying it's too late now. I'm saying if he doesn't do something soon, it's too late. I mean, for one, that doesn't mean that he can't change into a person that could get a girlfriend or get a wife or whatever. It doesn't mean that he can't do that at age 50 or whatever. But it's considering the work that he's done on it so far, and considering how advanced he is so far at it, it's highly doubtful that he's going to do anything about it. It's highly doubtful that he's actually going to take the initiative to do anything, and that he even knows what to do. I mean, I kind of have a little bit of a sort of a vague idea of what to do to get a girlfriend, even though there's various situations that there's various choices I've made the last year or two, and various things that have happened that I did not put my work into that lately. Because part of me does want to improve, in life, and then I don't know. But I got sick of the same old thing too. It's just kind of like the same archetype or whatever. I think that was kind of bumming me out a little bit. But it's like I just can't imagine that you can actually get out of that. I don't know what you can do. I mean, I suppose, the first thing, like, you got to fix so much that it's just insurmountable obstacles. Like with me, it's, I lose a couple more pounds, get maybe dress a little better when I'm going out sometimes, be a little more social, or, or hit the online dating, just like, do stuff like hours a day like I used to do. Within 4 or 5 months, have some, or start getting dates, and this is usually what happens. And if I really put a lot of work into it, I mean, and then, uh, and then I meet a girlfriend, and a lot of times it's not the best situation. I'm just being honest. Um, but I know, what am I trying to say is I have a vague sense of a path to follow to some extent. And I'm not saying like I'm great at it, or that I'm even doing much about it, for various reasons. Like I said, I'm not doing much about it. I might do more about it in the future. I'm not sure what life is going to bring me, or what I want to do in the near future. I would like to ideally get back into it, but I know for a fact that these people that I talk about, are these, these This certain person, especially, does not know how to actually, like, what the path of getting a girlfriend is. Like, it's like, um, I think I know other people that are, some people are virgins or whatever. I think they actually do know what to do somewhat. But the specific person, I think, like I'm talking about right now, well, I'm actually more worried about him. I think he doesn't know like what it's all about. Like he doesn't really get it. Especially if you're religious. Like if you are sheltered and religious and I think I think he knows what to do, but I don't think he really knows. Like it's like book knowledge versus like practical real life, like knowing what to do. And it's kind of like, what would he do? You know, what do you do to escalate a situation with a woman to, get them, turned on? I'll just be blunt, get them turned on enough to have sex with you. I sort of know. I'm definitely not good. I'm definitely pretty mediocre to bad at like with the opposite sex. I'm just being honest. I mean, but I know what to do, sort of, because I'm not a virgin. I've had girlfriends and stuff. I'm just saying, like, I can't imagine what it's to be in that situation where it's like like for example, this guy I'm talking about is like, it's just like when he talks about he's hanging out with a woman, like she gives some type of excuse why she doesn't want to pursue something with him, and he believes it. Like the naivete, it's so heart wrenching. The naivete that guys like that have, and that doesn't mean like everybody that I know that's a virgin that definitely does not have that naivete. I'll just put it that way. So I know several other people that are a little bit more with it about that. But this guy definitely has a naivete about him. And he doesn't understand that, like, he believes women at face value is what I'm trying to say. Like, he's just like, oh, yeah, she moved to a different state, and that's why she doesn't want to have a relationship. No. And you didn't make any moves, or I didn't make any moves on her, I blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh my God, man. It's just so frustrating, and I don't know. I don't know if there's any hope, is what I'm saying. Like, this is a little black pilled about my friend, but about some of my friends that are virgins, and I, know several, more than two, I believe. I don't know. I'll just say I know more than two. I don't know if I know more than two, actually, but um, for the sake of argument, I'll just say there's numerous people I've known that are virgins and stuff. Or, they just don't. I mean, a lot of times I know people that don't know how to do anything, don't know how to talk to women too and stuff like that too. I don't really know shit, right? But I know like a basic outline of what to do, and I've done it. It's like it's hard for me to get in that state, but I've done it, So it's a specific person I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm really worried about him. I think I just have to face the fact that I'm gonna see him, like, I don't know what he's gonna do. It's like, is he just gonna be apathetic the rest of his life about the whole thing? Is he gonna do something about it? I don't think he is. That's the thing. That's the thing that's really depressing. It's like, I don't know if he's gonna ever try to like muster up the courage to change that part of his life. I mean, obviously, he's gonna have to change more than that to get women or something like that. He also likes a lot of younger women too, which is really weird too, because it's like, dude, you're like going after like the women that probably will not want to be with you. It's not an age thing, but just like the way he is, like, I don't think he understands like how to get. I mean, I was trying to say, like, he doesn't understand how to get younger women. Like, he doesn't like. I don't think he understands the concept. Like, what you have to do. Like I think he relates to him as an older guy too much. I mean, no, I mean, there's useful things about him, but I'm just saying, like, he doesn't really get, like, you have to kind of go down to that level. Like, for example, like, my ex-girlfriend, she, used Snapchat all the time. And this guy, like, didn't have a phone for a year, like a cell phone. And it's like, you're going to have to, like, adapt to that lifestyle to some extent in order to get that. It took me like another friend like to tell me that you have to use Snapchat with younger women to like actually use it. And I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing with Snapchat, but like at least it like worked within the guidelines of dating to some extent. This other girl, I see her stuff all the time that I had this date with too. It's like this other girl I was talking to on there too, and I see her shit once in a while, but she was fucking whatever, weird. But yeah, it's like it's dumb. Like the whole concept is just it's terrifying. Like I think it's maybe my own insecurities about being alone myself, but like and like projecting that on other people, but it's just terrifying to think about. You're a virgin at age 45 and you are limited with this magical thinking about meeting a wife from God or whatever, and it just time is ticking away at it at life, and you're making very little progress in that area. Maybe making a little more progress in life than you were, like in general, but like you're the time is ticking. It's a ticking time bomb. It's like you're not getting anywhere. Like by not doing something about it, but then at the same time, you don't even know what to do because you don't believe anything I say. You don't listen to my advice because I'm just like I mean, but at the same time, it's like my advice. If I was really like women were knocking down my door, I would maybe be able to make advice. But then he would say like, oh well, I want a woman for a relationship, but in order to get into a relationship, you have to have some like experience, and to get experience, you have to be with women sometimes not in a serious way. Just a fact. I mean, what do you think? All the people that grow up, that's what happens to normal people. That's why the pickup artist scene. That's why people are into it, because it's like it's making up for like high school where they were dating someone new every week for a couple of years, and then they meet a long term. It's like a normal thing. You date some. Oh shit. You date someone for, a couple weeks in high school, then you date someone else, and then you find someone for a year, and then in college you have like a 2 or 3 year. This is just the normal thing, and then you get married after college, and then you get divorced at age, at 10 years after, you're 35 years old, and you meet your wife that's usually younger. You probably have some kids by then. You have more kids with a younger wife. I'm just saying, like, this is a normal trajectory for many people, or it used to be at least. And when you don't have that shit, then you're left to this idea that you have to develop into this person because you missed out all those experiences. This is autobiographical, by the way, to some extent. So you get into stuff like the pickup artist thing, or you try to like inappropriately older trying to do a lifestyle like just like sleeping with a bunch of women or whatever to try to like ease the pain. It's almost like easing the pain of like being alone for all those years, and just like, but it's one thing having a mediocre experience doing that and not doing enough about all that stuff, or having girlfriends and then having situations that go kind of awry with that, and like they have with me the past several years to some extent, and just like a mediocre lack of initiative, or like a lack of initiative to do stuff too after a while. There's one thing in that, and at least having 6 to 8 months relationships, whatever, and then, but imagine having nothing at all ever. It's like it's just terrifying. I mean, I'm just like, the uphill battle that people like this have to make is just going to be like, they're going to be, they're going to have to really work on themselves. And, you have to, you have to really, it's hard to face that kind of hopelessness, like to think that certain people that I know will never change and never like grow as people in a certain way, or never lose their virginity. It's like a scary thought. I cannot believe that that's the case. I guess I value those things too much sometimes, but I can't believe, I can't even fathom what it's going to be like for him at age 55 if he continues on the course he's on. I'm saying, like, it's like, it's correctable at this point. I mean, a couple of years though, I don't know if it's going to be. Not by any old of his, I know there was a guy on that show, the Pickup Artist, that was like 50 or something like that. That the Mystery Method guy, Mysteries show on VH1 or whatever. Well, talking about that, but still, it's like this guy would never do anything like that. So it's like this loop of failure, you know. Well, I'm a Christian. I have to wait till I'm married. Um, oh, I don't like that. I don't like certain types of girls. Oh, I like more younger girls. It's like you have to basically create. Oh, well, God's gonna lead the way. There's no manifestation. Blah blah blah. It's like, oh, and then all these limiting beliefs and mental illness and all this other stuff. It's like, well, fact of the matter is that there's gonna be one day that I tell this guy, if he asks me, if he lets me know that he's frustrated with this lifestyle that he's had, and he tells me, well, why can't I meet girls, blah blah blah, because he never really talks about it all that much, by the way. If he tells me, if he expresses that to me, I'll be like, well, you're making that choice to be that way, to do that. You're making the choice to not challenge your thinking about this whole thing, because for one, you're not going to be able to do this. It's just realism, and I don't like realism because I like a lot of woo kind of new agey kind of shit, but like, and he could probably, maybe he could manifest some younger girl that was a Christian that wanted to be with him. I don't know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but like, I think by doing the work, doing the work that is involved with getting somewhere in life with the opposite sex, with women, like telling me that you've emailed 7 people on a dating site over a month period of time. I'm like, and he's like wondering, well, why doesn't anybody respond? This actually happened. I'm like, the amount of work that I've put into online dating, like let's say for example 2011, I emailed hundreds of women a week, just because I put like hours and hours into this shit, and it did yield results. But it's like, the work, like, this is what I'm trying to say, like the work that he's gonna have to put in. And I don't think he's bad looking, I'm not saying that, but like, I was actually reasonably good look. I'm not trying to say that I'm good looking or something, but like, I was a lot thinner back then. I was obviously younger, but I also had a lot of limiting things too. But I put so much fucking work into it, and that's the big deal. I put tons of work into it, like beyond uh things that anybody would like put up with. Like, it was hours and hours a week that I put into online dating back in 2011. And I did get a girlfriend. I did mess around with this other girl casually for a while too, and both at the same year. Um, and then I had another girlfriend or another girl I was hanging out with after that girl, that more long term thing. But that took so much work and so much time. And that's not even, I mean, that's online. I'm not saying like I did more, I should have done more real life stuff. I'm just saying like this, because of this long, most of it was that long term girl that I had. But the hours that I put, what I'm trying to say is the hours that I put into just to get some results, it's like, it took me months, it took me months of emailing girls every day. And I don't think people like this know that this is like, seriously, the older you are, and the more limiting, a lot of times it's limiting beliefs too. I'm not going to deny that. Limitations and limiting beliefs, they both go hand in hand. Whether or not it just makes it just there's a lot of convoluted things involved with that. But the limitations of being older already were, in my life. Like I was getting, a little bit older at that point. And this is not when I lost my virginity. That was years and years before. I'm just saying, like, it was like just the work that I put into it is every fucking day, every day. You know, I did shit with the whole thing. I just would go on and put hours and hours into it. And obviously it did yield results, but it was very, very much a difficult way of life to some extent. I mean, it was fun, but it was a lot of work, is what I'm trying to say. Well, not difficult way of life, but it was a lot of work, and I had to focus a lot on it. So I think people that are inexperienced or virgins do not get. A lot of them don't get. Some of them do get this, but some of them don't get that. To get to that point, you have to go through so much, not only with like bad dates or whatever, that you probably would not even, want to even do anything. Like you wouldn't want to even go out the door, like, or log on to whatever app or whatever, if you knew how hard it is, because there's no excuses that you can make if you're not putting the work into it. There's no fucking excuses. If you want to have a girlfriend, or if you want to get laid or whatever, there's no excuses at this point in our modern age if you're not putting the work into it. That doesn't mean that you can't, it doesn't mean like Better Bachelor that Better Bachelor like is wrong about some of the stuff he says, but there is a certain threshold that if you put enough work into it, if you're reasonably like not ugly, and you reasonably have like a level of whatever you want to call it, intelligence or culture is, if you're cultured or have some type of personality that comes across in whether it be online or in real life, you're going to get results eventually. Now, the results may not be the best, all the time, but nevertheless, you're going to get results. And that's really the only way forward for people like this. You have to go through that pain period to get to where you want to go. But I think these people, especially him, are scared of that. They're scared. They want to use all these excuses. A lot of times this magical thinking is an excuse. The magical thinking, like, I'm going to meet this girl. God is going to give me this girlfriend or wife or whatever, like, at age 34. Like, this is my thing. Or whatever. I don't remember what it was. But, I believe I'd be married and all this stuff. It's like, this magical thinking is an excuse. It's a crutch that you can just sit there and not do something about it. Because anytime you're manifesting something, you're not going to sit on your ass and like win $1 million. That's just not how manifestation works even. I mean, you could, I guess, but you have to have some type of energy or effort to get things to come true, for the most part, not always, and there's exceptions to that rule, and maybe it's a little more fluid than that. But the fact of the matter is people are lazy and want to make excuses. It's like me with my current project, or current projects, but this other project that I'm in where I'm playing cover songs. There's no excuses for me not learning I'll See the Light Tonight on guitar, I have to work hours and hours on it. I'm not still not there where I want to be with some of these songs, but it's like it is what it is. Like I have to do what I have to do to get there. I'm not going to learn Yngwie Malmsteen by not picking up my guitar for weeks at a time. So, which is unfortunately happening sometimes, but nevertheless, it takes work. It takes initiative. So, I mean, people are also white knights or, has a good guy badge or whatever, and they think, oh, well, I'm a nice person, so I'm going to meet a girl one day, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you're not going to be a woman like that. You're not going to fucking, and that attitude is not going to get you laid or get a girlfriend too by being a nice guy. And I think, certain people that are virgins or inexperienced have this belief. Even people that are like, that I know that have been friends from the past, like some of them are married now, but friends of the past are like, I'm going to be a nice guy, I'm going to be myself, and a girl's going to have to accept it. It's like, no, you don't have to be yourself. You have to be your best self, of course. But yeah, it's like it's kind of a fucked situation for some people, so to speak. Fucked. Well, it's not a fucked situation. That's the problem. But yeah, it's like kind of one of those things. So I don't know. I don't know what to say to this person, but I'm really worried, and I've just been thinking about it lately because it's kind of sad, but it's the truth that I it's a part of life that he's going to have to accept, that he can't, if he continues to hold on to his beliefs and holds on to what he's doing, like as far as this subject of life goes, it's possible that he never loses his virginity or gets a girlfriend because he's been going on, such a long time. And obviously Christianity or religion in general does not help with that. And, believing in magical thinking, like, oh, yeah, this is going to be, all my problems will be solved because I'll meet this girl one day and blah, blah, blah. It's like one of those things. But yeah, it takes work. It took me a lot of work. And when I decide, which may be in the near future, to put the work back into what I was doing, 2019 was actually, I was working on this shit hardcore to some extent. Maybe not as hard as previously in some years, but and there's things that I have to improve and have to get better at because I really did stagnate. But once I start putting the work into it, I know that results will happen, because they always do. But the concept is lost on people like, who I'm talking about. It's like, you're not gonna get, I mean, it's just not gonna happen. And there's part of me that feels like I'm better in a way, like, because I know that that's the case or something, and I feel like some kind of power trip. I don't know. I hope not, but it's sad. I feel sad. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel sad that this is happening or not happening for this person. And it's just like, I see them, it's kind of self-destruction, it's self-destruction is what it is. I mean, if a person wants to be single and that's their goal, for the rest of their life, that's fine. Then it's not self-destruction. But if you want companionship or a girlfriend or, whatever, or a wife or whatever, then it's self-destruction if you're in this guy's situation. So that's just something to think about. I just thought I'd do this video, and I'm just like kind of getting my thoughts down about it. And, I can't even imagine how hard it's going to be, in the future for people like this that, they're age 50 and they've never had a girlfriend and stuff. And, a lot of people, they say, oh, I had a girl. Oh, like people that are, these fucking, oh God. So people say that they're like, some of these virgins that I've talked to, they're like, oh I had my girlfriend. That wasn't your girlfriend, dude. If you're not having sex, you're not your girlfriend. if you're not like doing stuff like I think they were just friends, and he refers to people. It's just everything's exaggerated because you have to relate to the conversation, so you can exaggerate some friend you had as a girlfriend. Oh my god, it's just so cringe. But anyways, that's about all.